Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track Hourglass by the Swedish rock band Normandie. The Dopamine Clinic has opened for its third session as the band released the third track from their upcoming fourth studio album Dopamine, which does land on February 9th 2024, and this is track 8 from that upcoming album, and they will be releasing one song on the first day of every single month all the way through until February, so we're getting to hear a lot more from the band, and I was certainly very impressed with the first two tracks we did get to hear in the form of Blood in the Water and Flowers for the Grave. They were both packed full of metaphorical meaning and some extremely strong songwriting, which I was really impressed with the way they constructed those tracks. And for this they're throwing in a bit of a twist. It will feature Dani Winterbates of Bury Tomorrow, so I'm questioning whether we're going to see a bit more of a darker turn or something a bit heavier on this track. So will this latest track have plenty of life to give or simply be running out of time? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. Okay, already we're getting a much darker impression coming from this track. It feels very Nine Inch Nails, it feels very industrial, very down-tempo. You can even see that in the vocal delivery from Philip Strand. He sounds tired, he sounds like he's giving up almost. I'm tired of the games and the playing pretend. Having caught in a stalemate, I don't stand a chance. I feel like this is another track that's going to see a lot of revolution around opposites. Certainly we can see that the idea of this stalemate, stuck in a kind of almost a decision between two things, got to see it all die to find the other side. Could be a balance between life and death. And I really like the lyrics, set fire to the rain till I drown in the flames. You're almost being burned alive and drowned at the same time. Again, showing these comparison between these two things. Water and fire don't really tend to mix. So again, almost this life and death, this time that's sinking through. An hourglass, I can't start a clean slate, I know how it ends. So it's really like it's focusing on this perspective of death coming. And we're going to see with this album, it really focusing on dopamine, that good feeling, and trying to capture that and how it's becoming more difficult to obtain that. So we see it being very dystopian and quite dark in its nature, and this track is certainly delivering that in the musical style that we have got coming in from these very down-tempo guitars and this very slow, sluggish beat that's coming through as well. Okay, I love how as we switch into the chorus, we get this much more uplifting style. It's almost like this fight between wanting to live and die, or really accepting death, being willing to accept it and live your best life. It's almost like this constant fight within somebody where they feel tired, they want to give up, but they want to continue saving their tears inside an hourglass. So a bit of a play on saving your tears inside something that can catch them, and that sadness kind of filling up the time that you have left. And they're touching on the idea of time being finite. Life is kind of set in stone almost most. You only get so long to live, so make the most of it. And they kind of revolve around very ambiguous ideas as well. You stole my heart and never gave it back. So it can touch on relationships, these past memories that you cling on to, and they kind of eat away at your life, at the sands of time that you have got left, and gradually kind of cause the sand to flow a little bit faster. So I really like how they're playing on these ideas, because time won't heal these wounds, I promise that. So lots of references around this idea of a finite time, and really just kind of touching on it very cleverly through the idea of the hourglass, because time won't fix this broken promised land. So we're seeing this very dystopian feeling coming through from the album with Flowers from the Grave and songs that they have released so far. So I really like how they're continuing to play on that with these sounds as well. And that perfect line at the very end of the chorus, I guess that nothing is made to last. Everything has an expiry date. Everything is finite ultimately. So you can really see them bringing that in. The idea of forever being a lie. And I really love the comme des fleurs nous fanons, which means like flowers we wither. So Flowers for the Grave tying in with that, the point that you get to this point where eventually you kind of die and then you fade again when no one's left to remember you. So really kind of swinging it in with other tracks they've released on the album already.
Am I holding on to nothing? What if pain grows into something new? Am I holding on to nothing? What if I'm ready to lose you too? I see my tears inside an hourglass, 'cause time won't heal this wounds, I promise that. You stole my heart and never give it back. I guess I love and it's made to last. I see my tears inside an hourglass, 'cause I won't fix this broken promise that. You stole my heart and never give it back. I guess I love and it's made to last. Death comes fast for a life worth living. Everything grows when you learn to give in. Death comes fast for a life worth living. Everything grows when you learn to give in. Everything grows when you learn to give in. Everything grows when you learn to give in.
Well, that was certainly a very interesting breakdown we had coming in, and it's great to see them switching up the musical style, really going back to songs such as Mission Control. There's much heavier elements that are really being brought in to this track, and great that they got Dani on board to really provide that aggression, almost like death is screaming in your face. Everything grows when you learn to give in. So it's really this accepting of death that you can only continue to grow as long as you stop kind of just wilting away almost like a flower. And I love that little switch up. Everything grows when you learn to give it up. So it's this idea of giving up this almost fear of death, and then you can continue to grow rather than giving into it. So I like, again, these comparisons that are really coming in, these little changes that we do see very briefly in the lyrics. Death comes fast for a life worth living. This idea that if you kind of live your life to the fullest, you go out and experience lots of things. Yes, death effectively comes sooner because you've had an enjoyable life and you've really gone through it. If you kind of live this life where you're just dragging out every single day, not really achieving anything, then yes, death may seem like it comes slow, but you've kind of wasted away that life. So I really like how they're just touching on that, this idea of everything grows when you learn to give in, just really showing that if you're willing to just accept that life is finite, you can go out and enjoy these experiences and continue to grow yourself as a person. So I really like the way they're blending in some of these different ideas and these different lyrics to this idea of kind of the fear of death, or this battle between life and death.
You stole my heart and never give it back.
Yes, I really liked that very dark and dirty feeling that we did have coming through. Definitely gave me a very Nine Inch Nails kind of vibe coming through with the sounds that they did include in this track. And it's great to see them kind of leaning more into this dystopian feel. The other tracks have had a much more anthemic feel in the way they've had these oohs and these ahs that you can sing along to and really get involved in the chorus. But with this, I almost like how it still had that soaring style coming into the chorus. You had these deep, grungy tones, and then you really got something a bit more uplifting. That dopamine hit as you did move into the chorus, something slightly more upbeat, where Philip Strand didn't really sound as tired as he did throughout most of the verses. So I really enjoyed that. I like the musical styles very heavily. It's probably my favourite musical style of the three that we have heard so far, because it's again just showing the band really their ability to dive into something a little bit different. I'm still keeping that heavy meaning coming in, touching on the battle, this fear of death, and really being willing to accept that time is finite and using that to continue living your life to the fullest. Don't spend your life living in sadness. Take those dopamine hits when you can get them and continue to thrive and grow yourself. So great to see also getting Dani Winterbates on board. I really like how he just came in just for that breakdown, add a lot more power, a lot more emphasis than Philip probably could have in delivering this dark, dingy style that they've really gone for. So I really appreciated that, as well as many of the little changes in the lyrics as well. I really have been impressed with the three tracks that we have heard from this album so far. Even the Comme des Fleurs non fanant, just throwing that in, just mixing things up, throwing these little quirky little elements in that really just show a lot more flavour in the way that they actually write these tracks and put them together. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comment section below. How do you feel it lives up to the other tracks that we have had a chance to hear from the album so far, and which of the three is your favourite? Blood in the Water, Flowers for the Grave, or Hourglass? I would love to know your thoughts. Also, if you'd like to see more Normandie content, I have covered the other two tracks from the album in previous videos, so I'll post a link to those in the description of this video. And if you would like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Dojo analysis.